a big hit to Lake County's economy. Grocery giant Kroger announced today it's going to close its automated facility in Groveland.
More than 1,000 people are employed there, and the impact is already being felt. West News' David Jones live outside the Kroger facility. And David, the company opened this just a few years ago.
They did. One county commissioner says in many ways today's news feels like a profit-driven betrayal, especially after Kroger opened this facility here just a few years ago, promising a large-scale investment and hiring in 2021. Now they're pulling out of Lake County, closing this distribution center along with two others in other parts of the country. West 2 took a tour of the facility back when it opened. It's become the county's 7th largest employer since opening. The Ocado company, which operates the robots inside the facility, was the 9th largest taxpayer in the county last year. County staff say Kroger's initial investment was $131 million. Ocado's was $150 million, and even that they had been told of upgrades being made here at this facility. So this news blindsided them. Lake County staff stressed the county is still open for business. They still are looking to attract large employers, and they're going to do what they can to connect impacted people with work. But Commissioner Sean Parks tells me this news has been devastating for Lake County.
There are decisions that are, strictly business and financial made, at headquarters in a different state, far away from here. But it's the personal, ramifications to the personal effects, if you will, that in my heart, I feel betrayed.
He says his feelings of betrayal are shared by people he knows who work at Kroger. Parks says there were incentives made to attract Kroger here, long-term investment incentives that were meant to be spread out over a decade, but now will be cut short. So
I don't know what y'all think happens, but when an employer is pulling out, it's not because they want to pull out. Contrary to popular belief, employers want to add jobs. If employers are adding jobs, then that means that they're growing. If they're growing, then that means that they're profitable. If they're profitable, then that means that they can hire more people. So, y'all keep saying that y'all feel betrayed. Nigga, this is business. That's just the way business goes. Let's say you have a commercial building, right? You got a commercial space. This space right here, this space that I stream out of, that I work out of every single day, that I do multiple different shows out of, that, all of this, and the lights and the cameras, and then I got the other set that's right over there. That's where I do a lot of my reaction videos, and then that's where I do all of my the Millionaire Morning Show goes in there, right? You see the white shirt that I usually have on when I'm doing the Millionaire Morning Show. That's the black couch. The infamous black couch. And then that's the upgraded black couch right there. All right? So you see all of this, right? And you see me and I'm working and I usually had a TV on and you see all of the marble and you see the YouTube plaques and the bottles and all of this stuff, right? And you see this place, right? You see it. And you see me working in here every day. And I'm in here and I'm using this place and I'm grinding and I'm hustling and all of it, right? And then I got contacted by the facility, right? I got contacted by the facility and I put a lot of upgrades and I got chandeliers up here at the top and I got super stuff over there and all of this stuff, right? And then let's say they contact me and they say, Anton, they just recently contacted me and they said, Anton, are you renewing? And I said, oh, I didn't even know that my lease came up. Are you renewing your lease? I think I've been in here for like 3 or 4 years or something like that. Are you renewing your lease that's going to start at the beginning of next year? If I was doing bad in business, because I promised them, hey, listen, not only am I making a capital investment, I put $100,000 into building this big old marble floor to ceiling, all of these different sets and all of this stuff. I've upgraded this place significantly because this is where I work out of, right? I've made an investment into my future because that's a part of business. Now, if my money wasn't right and if I wasn't doing well and the streaming wasn't busting and it wasn't booming, then I would have to say, I know I promised that I was going to be here, but I got to go ahead and exit left. I'm not going to renew. I'm taking all of my stuff and I'm leaving with me Well, that would be a super big blow because not only did I promise that I was going to be here, and that's why I made this capital investment, I also promised that I was taking over another space that was directly next door to have my offices for the people that work for me when it comes to my property management and development company, right? And so there is no betrayal if the money ain't there, because I've been trying to tell y'all and explain to y'all, I talk about it in the Patreon all the time, about the margins in the grocery business. When we talk about margins in the grocery business, for example, right? They're razor thin, tons of debt, paying on that debt. And it's funny because we were talking about Kamala Harris, right? And one of the things that Kamala Harris during her campaign was saying, I'm going to go after these big grocers. I'm going to go after the companies that price gouge when it comes to the amount that they're charging for groceries. Well, Kroger is definitely one of the biggest in the nation. And guess what? They're struggling. They're not able to generate the amount of revenue that they want to generate. Walmart depends on food stamps. They sell 25% of all groceries inside the United States of America. Companies that are not profitable cannot continue to invest in your city. This is not politics. This is business. And I know that politicians think that money just grows on trees. And so you can't say that you're betrayed by them not investing in your infrastructure and distribution center because they don't need that level of capacity anymore. They don't need that. They don't need the capacity anymore. You see what I'm saying? So when y'all experience this, when you see a company closing or leaving or whatever, when I see people protesting, I see the Starbucks workers that's over there protesting. Let me see something. In New York, dummies, idiots. Look at this, all over us.
Early this morning, we saw this Starbucks location open up as usual at 4:30 a.m. What is not usual is a picket line blocking the drive-thru at this store as baristas start to strike.
This store unionized in 2022. And my previous store that I was at also unionized in 2022, and we still don't have a contract.
Look at these idiots.
It's being called the Red Cup Rebellion. Starbucks unionized baristas are on strike, demanding better pay, better hours, and
look at these liberals,
and rallying against what they say are labor violations. Workers United says Starbucks.
Look at these liberals. Look at these idiots with their UGG boots on and their mom jeans and their fur hooded coats, walking around in their New Balances and their Asics with good support on them, and they're walking around protesting outside about to eliminate their own jobs. Look at these idiots. Now there's people across the country. There's people across the country that would kill for a job. Over in California, you got fast food workers and Starbucks workers making $20 an hour. And these motherfuckers, you can never finish pleasing them. They want more money. They want more resources. You know how much fucking coffee you got to sell in order to pay these dummies? Coffee has a major markup, but you still got to sell a lot of it in order to cover the salaries. You know how much coffee you got to sell to pay these fools? Still got facility costs, still got maintenance, still got electricity, still got insurance, all of this stuff. And they're over there marching.
Has not offered a contract they believe is close to what they're asking for. So they're taking to the picket line. The strike is happening at more than 65 stores in roughly more than 40 cities across the country.
For so long, they were this progressive company. The communities we create in our stores and the partners, every store I've ever worked at is like some of the best people I've ever met work at Starbucks. It's just that the company itself is making it harder to work for the company.
And I have never seen an employer act.
Do you know that I would be out of there so fast? If I was a person that was working at Starbucks, I would be up out of there so fucking fast. I would have been going to school I would have been taking advantage of Starbucks tuition program. I would have been running up a bag. I would have been trying to get up out of there immediately because I'm like, yep, this place is going to be closing sooner rather than later. Yep, this place is going to be closing sooner rather than later. So when you see a place closing or you see places starting to shut their doors, it's because they are running out of revenue and resources and they are not profitable and they're trying to figure out how to get rid of you. Simple. Simple as that. It gets no more complicated than that. Trying to figure out how to stay profitable and keep the doors open. It shouldn't be a long-term career. Starbucks should not be a long-term career, but what do I know?